Should I use a semicolon or a colon? They look like this? Lots of people think the only time to use a colon is for a happy face, or semicolons for a winky face. There's actual grammatical reasons why you should use these things. Semicolons are used to combine complete thoughts, such as independent clauses. They introduce new ideas about a subject. Colons, on the other hand, provide further information about a complete thought that's already been mentioned. So it's just giving you more information about that idea. We use colons to tell time. In salutations of business letters. They're used to emphasize a word or phrase that provides more information to a sentence. Colons can be used to introduce sentences, questions, or quotations. To introduce a quotation, you can also use commas. Typically, we use a colon if the quotation is 6 words or more. One of our favorite reasons to use a colon is to introduce a list. Colons follow transition words a lot of times, but they cannot follow prepositions or verbs. Now on to semicolons, which we stated earlier introduce new ideas. Semicolons are used to combine two independent clauses. Semicolons are also used before introductory words that combine two independent clauses. So you would have your first independent clause, semicolon, introductory words such as however, therefore, although, and then a comma. It has to go semicolon, introductory word, comma. We also use semicolons to separate items in a series when those items in a series use a comma in them. So if in your series you have, for instance, Phil, my brother, you would need a semicolon to separate those items. All of the items in the series do not need to have a comma in them. If just one of those items has a comma, then you need to use a semicolon to separate all of the items. You're going to use a semicolon when you have two independent clauses that are joined with a coordinating conjunction, but one or more commas already appear in that first sentence. So if in the first independent clause there's a comma, you're going to want to use a semicolon and a conjunction to combine those two independent clauses. We already know that you use a colon before a list of items, but if you use an introductory word before that list, you would use a semicolon before the introductory word that introduces the list. That seems confusing. Let's look at the example. For example is introducing this list, so we have to use a semicolon before for example. So those are the reasons we use semicolons and colons. Their actual purpose is for grammar, not to make funny faces when you're texting or emailing. Check out the PowerPoint and handout for a more detailed explanation of when to use these two punctuation marks.